I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome to my January book haul. This is relatively small, so we're going to jump straight into it. If you're new to one of my book hauls, welcome, hello. I usually talk about any review copies I've received, then I break it down by kids books and adult titles, and depending on the variety of genres that I have in the adult titles, I might break it down by genre. So starting off with any review copies that I have one physical review copy that I received in January, and that is Fall of the Argosi by Sebastien de Castell. This is a YA fantasy series. It's pretty much the only YA fantasy series that I'm still reading. This is the second book in a prequel series to the Spellslinger series, and I love it. I love these covers. They all look like playing cards and they make me really happy every time I see them. I don't know if this is the last one in the prequel series or not, but it follows the mentor figure from the first series before she became that mentor figure, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. Then I received 4 review copies in ebook form. So the first one was Forged in Fire by Juliette. This is for her re-release of the series at the start of February, so I have reread this one and I will have a review up I think already by the time this video goes up, so I'll leave that linked on the screen. I also received a review copy of Something Fabulous by Alexis. I got this through the Bonkers Romance podcast because I am one of their Temple of Defiant Joy members, and this was one of the books that we got for this month. I'm very, very excited to read it. I have not read it yet. I'm saving it because I promised Brie I would read it with her, so I'm being very, very good and not picking this one up straight away. And then the last 2 review copies I had were Deceived by the Gargoyles by Lillian Lark. This is the latest book in her Monstrous Matches series. It is obviously monster romance, paranormal romance featuring gargoyles. It is polyamorous, it is MMMF, and it was delightful. I have reviewed it. I will leave that linked on the screen so that you can check it out. I adored this book. And the last review copy was Twisted Love by Huang, which I received as part of the marketing spree for this book. This is a contemporary romance. It sort of leans into the darks a little bit, like this whole series. It's part of the Twisted series, just like edges into dark romance territory without being super dark. But this one is an enemies to lovers story between Josh and his sister's best friend Jules. They have basically verbally sparred with each other the entire time that they've known each other, which is about 7 years. This one is super steamy, but it's a lot, so check out my review for it. I really enjoyed it, but this is a true enemies to lovers story because they really do not like each other for a good part of the book. All right, then moving into some things that I purchased. I have one children's picture book. It is Australia by Pete Cromer. This is a gorgeous Australian non-fiction title featuring Pete Cromer's artwork. He does all these beautiful collages, and I have a lot of his Australian animal artworks on mugs because I love his artwork, and this is the picture book series that he has been doing. So they have very short, sharp information about different animals as well as some of the scientific information down the bottom. It's gorgeous. I love it. Some other books that are good for kids but are also basically all ages are some titles by Kay O'Neill. So there is Princess Ever After, which is a sapphic story with a princess saving another princess from a tower and then them both saving each other from a wicked queen. 2 I haven't read yet, but I will have read them by the time this video goes up, so I don't really know what they're about at the moment. I just know that I really wanted to read them. There is Aquicorn Cove by Kay O'Neill and also Dewdrop by Kay O'Neill. I have one graphic novel, Batman 3 Jokers. This one's by Geoff Johns, Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson. I read this in ebook form over Christmas. Absolutely loved it. Really wanted to own my own copy of it, which is what I tend to do with specific stories in the DC comic universe. Is I just find particular stories that I really, really like and then add them to my collection. But this one is about the relationship that Batman, Batgirl and Red Hood have with the Joker as the 3 characters who have been most affected by them over the course of the DC Comics universe. So really thoroughly enjoyed this. It was very, very fascinating to read. I also have Where the Drowned Girls Go by Seanan McGuire. This is the most recent release in the Wayward Children series, and I was fairly meh about this book, to be perfectly honest. There was nothing wrong with it. The writing style is still great. I just think I'm perhaps moving on from this series, even though I really, really have enjoyed previous books, but the last 2 have just fallen a bit flat for me. So this is about Cora, who has decided that Eleanor West School for Wayward Children children who have been through portal doorways is no longer the best place for her, and so she transfers to a companion school which is far more rigid, far more controlling, and as soon as she gets there she realizes that maybe she's made a mistake. I know lots of people who have loved this. I happen to just fall on the it's okay branch of enjoyment levels with this book. And then my last 3 books are all by Katee Robert, 2 of which I received through her Patreon and 1 is her new release. So starting with the new release, there is Electric Idol, which is the 2nd book in her Dark Olympus series. This one features Psyche and Eros and their relationship. It's kind of enemies to lovers, and then we have a marriage of convenience and a whole lot of political intrigue, and it is very steamy as per Katee Robert. And then from her Patreon I received my copy of Queen, 3rd and final book in the Bloodline Vampire series. I did get it signed, which is really, really lovely, and I also received a physical copy of the Meet Me Under the Mistletoe collection, which Katee Robert was part of. This also came signed, which is really lovely. I didn't actually get a chance to read this over Christmas last year, but this may form part of my Christmas in July vlog in July, so I'm actually really excited to have this as a physical copy. That was really nice. I forgot that that was coming. And the last thing I want to mention is that I've got my physical printed copy of my book journal for the second half of 2021. It arrived just this week. Very excited to have it, and I'm going to be doing a separate video on this. I was going to do a flip through the pages, but what I might do is actually just show the pages. I'll show some of the pages on screen like this, and then I'll actually do a digital flip through because I think it's easier to see just because of the way it's printed. It's easy to see in person, but to film it, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I was very excited that this arrived. So that is everything that I acquired in January. I'm glad that I have read the majority of them. I've only got a few left to pick up, which is fantastic for me. So I'm looking forward to it. In the comments below, I would love to know if you have read any of these books, or alternatively, what you have picked up. If you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave the shopping bag emoji down below. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.